and welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. So I thought, since I just made a video about transhumanism and how it's linked to a degree to the theory of evolution, I thought it was the right time now to talk a bit more about evolution, about evolutionary theory, evolutionary psychology even, and why ultimately I don't think it explains much, really. It doesn't explain much. Darwinism, evolutionary theory, it doesn't explain everything. The title of my article was this, so I wrote this a couple of years ago, and I wrote down here: some thoughts on Darwinism and evolutionary theory can explain shared values, and I think ultimately it cannot, and I would go even so far as to say that the whole theory of evolution is false. Just my view. I guess I'm inspired by the Christian worldview that man is made in God's image, and that we ultimately do not share nothing in common with the apes. Yes. But unfortunately, a lot of people they can't be convinced. Yes, they can't be convinced via religious reasons, via philosophical argumentation, via philosophy. They just want to be enmeshed in the scientific realm. Yes, they only want arguments from the realm of science. Yes, and therefore this is why I wrote this article, because I based my article on a book which only includes the view of scientists. Yes, social scientists and biologists, anthropologists, sociologists, etc. So this is a kind of a collection of different arguments against Darwin, against evolutionary psychology, and it was an interesting read. I remember. Well, I read it two years ago, so I don't remember it that well now. But I made some points here. I wrote down what I thought afterwards, once I completed the book, and I'd like to share some of my thoughts here. So, as you can see, I've included a picture here and I found this online, and it made me think. So, if the theory of evolution were true, then where are millions of the in-between species? Yes. So we have millions of Homo sapiens, humans, yes. We have millions of apes, but no trace really of the in-between species, yes, Neanderthalians and so forth. So this makes us question right from the off. This makes us question Darwinian theory, yes, that we are derived from the apes, and I think this is a problem. This picture here is a problem for people who believe in evolution, yes, in evolutionary theory. But anyway, moving on. So let's go through some of the ideas that refute the idea of biological determinism. So, biological determinism, it argues that ultimately we are at the mercy of our genes. Yes, that only genes have an impact on our life, and because of this, our future is pretty much set in stone. Yes, we cannot change our life. We cannot change our future. We cannot perhaps alter the course of events in the future so that we achieve more favourable outcomes, yes. But this idea is now being questioned by many thinkers, social scientists, biologists, who show that we're not just determined by the selfish gene, as Dawkins says. obviously procreation is one of our aims in life. It's a good aim to have. It's a healthy aim to have, to try and have children, to form a family. But to then kind of reduce a human to these drives, yes, there's nothing deeper to the human. I mean, this is so, it's obviously wrong in my opinion. Obviously, I could approach the issue from a religious perspective or from a philosophical perspective, but usually these scientists, they are against these disciplines. Yes, they're so arrogant that they just want arguments, empirical arguments. Yes, from the realm of science. So, so I guess we have to play their game slightly. Yes, because they're just ignorant. They don't want to expand their mind. So let's play the game with them via social science, yes, via biology, social science, etc., and show them these radical, evolutionary supporters, yes, such as Dawkins, etc. Let's show them that even biologists and social scientists are questioning this view. So the first argument is microevolution. So microevolution, it accepts the idea of there being change within species at the local level. So for example, we can think of a butterfly, how a butterfly changes the color of its wings in order to adapt to the environment, to perhaps be able to hide from predators more easily. But microevolution, it rejects the idea of this grand evolutionary cycle or theory that apparently there was a primordial soup, yes, primordial soup, and eventually this turned into a fully fledged human that we see now. I mean, really, there was this step-by-step process that led from a primordial soup. So some blind process, materialist process that led from there being a primordial soup to a human appearing on Earth. How this requires so much explanation. This is just propaganda. I mean, this is more like propaganda rhetoric than an argument. You have to provide evidence of this. Just like the scientist asks for evidence of God, and just like the scientist says that philosophy is no longer required. Okay, we can ask you then, you need exact evidence to prove that there was a primordial soup and that this somehow led to a fully fledged human, yes? I mean, it's nonsense, man. It's absolute nonsense, in my opinion. I don't know how people can accept such a worldview. I don't understand. Anyway, another argument. So, this is from the book, and this is how the gene does not determine all behavior, obviously. I agree that on an unconscious level, even I notice sometimes, I pick up kind of these drives, yes, these unconscious drives that I don't really have much influence over. And I guess perhaps these unconscious drives can be boiled down to the gene, yes. But then humans, we can also think and reflect, yes. Humans have reason. We have the capacity to reason, to think, and so this shows that we can, by thinking, we can change our behavior, yes. And therefore we have to take into account other factors when describing human behavior, and culture obviously plays a major role in shaping human behavior, yes. We can't boil down human behavior to a gene that we can't see. I mean, this is obvious to me, I think. So again, these two arguments straight away, they make us question the claims of evolutionary psychology, yes, because evolutionary psychology, I guess its main thesis is that man's sole purpose is to spread his genes, yes. And this was my comment in a Hobbesian free-for-all battle, because Hobbes had this quite pessimistic view that the state of nature is just man against man, yes? The war of all against all, and therefore this is why we need a state to prevent chaos and destruction, because otherwise man's life will be short and brutish and tragic. So I don't totally agree with Hobbes. I mean, I think obviously there is conflict, so we do need a state. We do need some form of a hierarchy or an outside power, a third party power that would regulate any conflict. We still need, I think, the police, etc., because there are crazy people out there, madmen, criminals, etc. But to say that this is the only aspect of human nature, that we are all just purely selfish, I don't think so. And therefore, not all behavior can be reduced to the operations of a gene, yes? Of a gene that we can't even see. This is my view. So, and the view of all the contributors to this book. So, now this is a philosophical argument, perhaps, and this is what I wrote. Where is the jump from the genotype to the phenotype? Because the genotype is this material structure, yes. But then this genotype somehow ends up becoming a phenotype. So the phenotype is our appearance, yes, how we look, the shape of our bones, how big our muscles are, how tall we are, our behavior, yes, our eye color, etc. It's just there is always this jump, yes. I think, and is this jump explained yet? I don't think so. So again, now let's provide another example. Where at what moment does a collection of cells, or do a collection of cells become an eye? So we can zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. At what moment does it become an eye? It's when you start to think about this. There's so many paradoxes once you start to philosophize, and once you start to use philosophy to embrace, yes, this kind of skeptical, healthy skeptic attitude to different issues. You start to notice that not everything is so obvious, yes? Not everything is so clear cut. This reductionism, because reductionism, eventually it's kind of a cheap cop-out. It's an easy way to explain things. Oh, you just reduce everything to matter, yes? Obviously, my life experience accepts this view to a degree. Obviously, we are made from matter, from material processes. I agree, but still, I think there's always kind of this gap, yes. This and this is why philosophy is useful. Can we see this gap? Yes, or can we see this jump from the genotype to the phenotype? Can we explain it away? It's difficult, I think. And I remember, and this is why I remember this part from the book a lot. Someone in the book starts talking about the eye, and he kind of questions, when does the eye become an eye? Kind of at what moment? So it's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And again, this explanatory power, this reductionism. Again, there's a gap. So apparently we have selfish genes, and then these selfish genes suddenly explain all human behavior. But I think that there's a gap there. There's a massive gap between the two positions, I think. it's too easy of an explanation. So now, I remember when I wrote this, and when I talked to my dad about this issue, we often recalled the idea of punctuated equilibrium. So my dad is by training a biologist, but he also I believe had a background in chemistry. These were his subjects: chemistry, biology. These were his main two subjects, and I remember he shared this idea of punctuated equilibrium, this alternative view of evolutionary theory, yes? And I like to read this quote by Stephen Jay Gould now. This is what he wrote about punctuated equilibrium. So my own field of paleontology, paleontology, I think that's how you say it, has strongly challenged the Darwinian premise that life's major transformations can be explained by adding up, through the immensity of geological time, the successive tiny changes produced generation after generation by natural selection. The extended stability of most species and the branching off of new species in geological moments, however slow by the irrelevant scale of your human life, the pattern known as punctuated equilibrium, require that long-term evolutionary trends be explained as the distinctive success of some species versus others, and not as a gradual accumulation of adaptations generated by organisms within a continuously evolving population. But individual organisms do not branch, only populations do, and the causes of a population's branching can rarely be reduced to the adaptive improvement of its individual organisms. I think I made a couple of mistakes here as I copied the quote. Perhaps let's type it into Google here. So, okay, so basically it says that it rejects the classical Darwinian idea of evolution as that is really slow and gradual, yes? But instead that evolution happens rapidly in bursts, and then there's nothing takes place. So obviously Stephen Jay Gould, he still believes in evolution, so I guess does he still believe that humans evolved from these previous organisms, these previous life forms like apes and Neanderthalians? Perhaps he does, yes. Perhaps he does. But this is my interpretation of what he said. So, because he said that populations branch rather than individuals, it goes back to my point here about the in between species. So there's millions of these of apes, millions of humans, but what about all of these? There's not much record of there being Neanderthalians, etc. There are millions of millions of these fossils, yes. So I think there's a gap here, yes, between human and the ape that cannot be explained by evolution. This is my interpretation and a thought that came into my mind as I was reading this. So again, this lack of evidence it means that the theory rests on shaky foundations, very shaky. And I'm sure that there's many more arguments, obviously. I mean, now I'd like to go back to shared values. Yes, so how can we explain shared values? Why do people cooperate? Because there's a lot of cooperation as well that takes place. People are able to cooperate. A lot of people, they show virtue, they show good behavior, they do a lot for others. Where does this come from? This is a problem, right? For the selfish gene view of reality. If we are all selfish, then surely such behavior shouldn't arise. Yes. And could we really create this brilliant civilization if we were all selfish? What about all the brilliant works of art, etc.? Is this just from a gene? There's no higher power at work, no spirit. I mean, for me, this is absolute nonsense. Darwinian theory. How has this become popular? How did this have such an impact on the world? I don't understand. It's so simplistic, I think, and it's a dangerous. I think Darwinian theory, the Darwinian view of life and evolutionary theory, etc., is a very dangerous worldview because it basically ends up promoting these kind of selfish behavior, and if man is treated as an animal, eventually man will become like an animal and act like an animal. Yes. And the 20th century was full of bloodshed, yes, and all this bloodshed occurred at a time when Darwinian theory and Marxist theory started to become popular, yes. So there could be a tentative link between these worldviews and all the violence and chaos that followed. So ultimately, I never rated Charles Darwin. I mean, such a bland thinker, such a simplistic thinker. I mean, to be honest, I've never really been interested in biology. Biology was always kind of a bit of a boring subject for me. I did study it at A level, I think, and previously I was interested a little bit, but yes, I much preferred chemistry back then when I was in the world of science, we could say. Now I just like to read popular science books just to keep up to date and to pick up on new information. But anyway, that's the end of my video. I don't want to talk more about this. I don't want to waste your time. If you made it this far and you're still listening, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you spending your precious time here on the JJ Think Tank. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. If you are new to the channel, that is. If you're new to the channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will help me grow the channel and spread more vital information. I think that will help us in the current culture war that we are in, I think. And yes, I share other information that really I think will help all of us on the individual level. So yes, if you like the video even more, consider donating and buy me a coffee. But yes, once again, thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. Take care.